Volvo has been pushing for zero emissions and their date is at 2030. Today, Bud and Chris has given us the 2022 Volvo XC90 T6 all-wheel drive Momentum in your Thunder Gray here at Crown Volvo Cars. What's new this year? You're going to receive standard navigation, updated Scandinavian interior that's tailored. The exterior will also have some rework. We have the captain chairs for the second row, so this is the 6-passenger. You can opt for a 7-seat in the same segment with your Lexus GX460 and your Audi Q7. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're going to go over all the specs and details, starting now. The Volvo XC90 Momentum is going to have a nice striking presence, more luxurious, and the Scandinavians is doing a good job with the grille. You're going to get the gloss black inserts, and on the exterior, you're going to get the chrome Volvo badging with the camera underneath it. So they're paying attention to detail because they're kind of masking and hiding everything they can. Even though you have a 360-degree camera, they hide it underneath there and it's not an eyesore. As for the parking sensors, I wish that this was the gloss black because they put gloss black for the sensors, so it does stand out a little bit on the side vent, and it's a non-functional vent as well. You will have your LED headlamps and your signature Thor hammer daylight running lights as well, LED fog lamps with cornering lights, so you're going to be able to see all the time, and that's what you're wanting with this luxury car, a longer hood that projects the length of the vehicle as well, a height of 69.6 inches and the width at 80.3 inches. Even though it looks sporty in the front and athletic, you still have great ground clearance at 9.2 inches, so everything just is more functional the way it's set up, and the way everything tapers off, it just goes and flows into a little touch of some fender flares with 20-inch 5 multi-spoke alloy wheels. The front disc reading at 13.2 inches, the rear is at 12.1, a double wishbone front suspension and integral axle on the rear. What the Scandinavians has done is they've given you the option to even go more luxurious. You can have a 4-corner air suspension option if you like, but the styling cues keeps the luxury styling the way it should be for the Elements. You're going to have a more traditional SUV styling, which if you are comparing it to the Audi Q7, it's going to be spot on because the line structures, it's not over the top, just enough aerodynamics, and that's what you want. Chrome around all of your window treatment with the gloss black in between. Silver for your roof rail, so it gives a sporty mixture and blend, and that's what you're looking for any SUV for a 6 or 7-seater. I also like how the aerodynamic line proportions go onto that roof spoiler, integrating into your tail lights, and I like the settle rear window look and the way the Volvo badging protrudes itself. One thing that Volvo has really stressed, again, zero emissions, so they reworked the rear bumper. You no longer can see exhaust outlets. This is the T6. So I actually want to see some exhaust outlets, but I get it. Zero emissions is what we're going after, so I'll excuse Volvo because they're really working hard to push forward. 2030 is the date that they have projected, which is pretty quick compared to other automotive industries. Because this is the T6 towing up to 5,000 pounds as well, so that also gives a nice attribute because you could tow a small boat, you don't have any issues with that. Going inside to your power tailgate, you're going to have a curb weight of 4,387 pounds. Cargo starts at 15.8 cubic feet. You have your 12-volt charger with the spare tire. The third row bench splits, giving you 41.8 cubic feet. Put those captain seats down in the second row and you'll max your cargo to 85.7 cubic feet. The Scandinavian luxury that the Volvo XC90 shows on the exterior just sets a good presence, and it backs the performance with a standard 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged. When you go to the T6, you upgrade with a supercharge. It's going to have a total output of 316 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque that's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, achieving 19 to 27 mpgs, a 0 to 60 around 6.5 seconds. So it's not going to be as fast as the T8, but it's going to be faster than the T5. It has the styling elements of the exterior. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Volvo XC90 Momentum as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Volvo XC90, you're going to get 38.9 inches of headroom, 40.9 inches of legroom. Because this is the Momentum, you're going to have more textured leather. It's black, 10-way power adjustments for the front passengers. They're heated front seats. So I do like the setup and the way everything is because it's very open, which you'll see in the second and even on the third row. You have a panoramic moonroof, which makes it even more lively because the weather today in Florida is just very lovely. For the dashboard, it's going to be a more simple, modern twist, and the Scandinavians do an excellent job with making it feel more luxurious with the materials that they work with. A 9-inch vertical Sensus Connect touchscreen with navigation. That's going to be standard with the navigation for the XC90 for this year. And you have the pinch, you have the swipe. This has your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, FM with your Bluetooth connectivity. Putting it into the reverse, it does have full trajectory. You click onto the 360-degree view and it will make it where you can see everything. It's high resolution. You click on the little icons here and you can see every single thing. So it does make it easy for your reversing. For the dual climate control in the front, you can just click it very simple and easy. You can also click it here. To go back into the main screen, just click the only button that's right here. Pull that up, back into your infotainment. A wireless charger right here. You're going to have 4-zone climate control with upgraded Harman Kardon premium sound system. So pretty much got all the bells and whistles. You got the black gloss around everything with the silver, so it does keep that styling element, and they do that around all of the air vents, so I do like that. As for cup holders, you can fit a 16.9 ounce water bottle. I would say you could fit maybe a 20 ounce. I really like how you just turn the knob to start the car. So I know it's not a push button start, but it's still cool because it's integrated right here with the gloss black around it. Opening up in here, you're going to have some more storage, a USB and a USB-C port. As for elbows, it's going to be a lot more firm on the center. It's going to be soft on the door panel. The steering wheel, it's a 3-spoke leather wrap with the gloss black, and you got the metal look around. Looking at the gauge cluster, it's a 12.3 digital driver display. It has your navigation. You can do your audio. You can do your Bluetooth connectivity. You have your heads-up display. On that door panel, you're going to get the memory seats for the driver. You got the Harman Kardon on the top with the wood inlays, metal underneath it, and on the door handle. One touch up and down for all the windows. Storage in the door panel, you can probably fit 5 or 6 16.9 ounce water bottles. So it's super efficient for the front, and I like the fact that you have all that storage amenities. Let's check out the second row. For the second row, I'm at 38.5 inches of headroom, 37 inches of leg room. You will be able to move these seats around and you can recline them, which is a pretty nice thing. And you can move them forward, which makes it where I can't really fit in the second row. It's probably the position that I'll put it, but to make it relaxed so I can go over the specs, this is the way I would sit. There's nothing here to rest your elbows, so that is something I dislike. You have your dual climate control in the rear, heated rear seats, you have 2 USB-C ports, 16.9 ounce water bottle can fit in the tray without any issues. You could probably fit a 20 ounce, and you got a little tray that you can fit a tablet. Storage behind both of the front seats. There isn't anything flat that's going to be in the center, but the walk-through is kind of nice because if you're traveling and you only have 4, you can easily grab things out of the cargo. As for elbows, it's going to be soft on the door panel. You will have an air vent on the side pillar. As for that door panel, the wood inlays, you get the metal look and you get the metal on the door handle. You're going to get the one touch up and down. You could probably fit 2 or 3 16.9 ounce water bottles in the storage bin. So it is pretty good. And I like the pano roof that it goes behind my head. So everything is open and it just feels more lively in the second row. But you know, I'm going to move this up here. Let's check out that third row. For the third row, I'm at 36.3 inches of headroom, 31.9 inches of legroom. What I did, just like you saw, I moved it forward so that way I'd have more space. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty cramped, as you can see on the image. As for elbows, it's going to be hard because it's harder materials. You do have a storage back here, and One area for a cup holder, you could probably fit a 20 ounce. I would say that's max. You have some air vents here in the pillars. The windows are pretty big for the most part, so you don't really feel claustrophobic. And the nice thing is there's only 2 people fitting back here. So you could actually stretch out your legs and you're not gonna conflict with anybody in the second row, and you're gonna relax in the third. Taking the 2022 Volvo XC90 Momentum T6 out for our test run. I mean, this is basically the best of both worlds because you got the turbocharge and you got the supercharger, so it works hand in hand, which I've done several reviews with this particular trim, and I do like the setup. The T6 is one of my favorite because you do have a good blend of both, and you still have the luxury. Because they're not overly sized tires, it's not such harshness in the ride. However, you will feel a little bit more bumps because this is not the 4-corner air suspension. 316 horsepower. Here we go, guys. This is the best part. Most people think, oh, it's a Volvo, you're not going to go nowhere. Yeah, you can. And you can do it with the Scandinavian luxury amenities. As for the brakes, if you need a hard brake, you can do so. You're not going to fly through the window. And to give her a little go, the best part about this engine, it has the blend that just makes it easy. As for quietness in the cabin, there's no dual pane windows on the side. The sound dampening though is pretty good. So it isn't too loud. It's not overly sized tire, so it is pretty good in that aspect too, because you do hear road noise, but it's not gonna be a substantial amount where it's like over the top whenever you get larger wheels. So I do like that. As for moving in and out of anything, you can do so without any issues as well. It's not necessarily that long of a vehicle, so I do like the fact that you can pretty much maneuver the car easy, and you can give it some gas and the thing's ready to rock and roll, as you're seeing. Stopped in the middle of the road. We're gonna put it over in the gear, trying to give it a little go now to see how well she performs. And the engine note gets nice and loud, which is exactly what you want. It does have to hit a higher note to actually hear the engine. That's the only thing. 295 pound-feet of torque. I wish that it was a little bit more, but I do like the blend that they're doing. I mean, the horsepower and torque blend I think is pretty evenly out, so I do like that. As for the dynamics, it's not going to be very sporty. It's going to be a little bit more boaty. The safety features though are very good with the Volvo, and that's what they're known for. Now there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like about the vehicle is you have so much storage in every single section. You don't necessarily get that with all SUVs, especially kind of like a mid-size to large, because that's what the styling is of this particular one. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is that you sit up high, but you're not so high where you feel like you're off-roading. You sit up with a luxury stance because of the way the hood proportions is. 8.5 inches of ground clearance is quite a bit, so you can go over a little bit of terrain. We're gonna do a quick U-turn so you could check the turn radius and come back to it. So a hard stop so you can see what I mean. Brakes grab good. As for turning, you're gonna get about 3 lanes. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is the performance. I mean, they give you a good blend. The T8 is my favorite because it does give you that 400 horsepower and it gives you that extra kick that you need. However, the T6 is efficient. If you've never drove the T8, the T6 is basically the best of both worlds. 3 things that I dislike about the vehicle. The second row, there's no armrest, which I don't understand. It makes it a little bit hard. At least give us an adjustment so we can rest our elbows. You know, make it easier for us. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is they don't give you the updated infotainment. So you're not getting the new Google Maps. It's not going to be as intuitive as the updated system, and even for the gauge cluster, it's the same thing. I kind of wish they did it because they are putting this in all of the new Volvos, and it just seems like the XC90 just missed the year. The last thing that I dislike is on the exterior styling. They did do a few little updates, and it's predominantly in the rear with hiding those exhaust tips. When you get to a T6, I feel they should at least just let them expose. You have a dual exhaust outlets. Let them expose, give us some chrome tips, do like Volkswagen or Audi does, where they just put the trim around it so it looks pretty luxurious, but it keeps that sport element because that's what the T6 really is about. But the T8, I would say that's fine, because they add an electric motor, which makes sense. You're going with 19 miles, full electric. I mean, you can do that, but with the T6, keep that sport element. As I've been driving it, the four-corner air suspension is definitely something that I would probably recommend to opt for. The standard suspension setup, you tend to feel the road a little bit more. The air noise seems to be a little bit more substantial in this particular trim as well. I don't necessarily feel as luxurious as I would with that one. And if I'm comparing it against the Audi Q7 or even the Lexus GX 460, the suspension in both of those just feel a little bit more smooth, whereas this one feels a little bit more bouncy without that four-corner air suspension. As for looking through the windscreen, you can see everything pretty good. There's not really too many blind spots in the rear because all the windows are big. It is a little bit of a longer vehicle, as we were talking about on the exterior. So yes, you will have to be relying a little bit on your blind spot monitoring. And when you look through the rear view mirror, the actual rear window is enormous. So you can see every single thing. So really, I mean, Volvo just does a great job with giving you full safety specs. As for driving it on a long journey, the only thing that I would say is a little disappointing is just that noise, because you can hear it through the windscreen, through the wheel wells, through the sides. It's not as dampened as it should be, and in some cases it makes a little bit of a whistling noise as well, depending on the way the wind hits you. As for the dynamics, to show you, you do have to slow down. It's not going to be full-blown out sport, but the Scandinavian stress on the luxury, and that's what you're getting with this particular vehicle. If I could turn the light green, I would, but it's not gonna work. Here we go. The seat comfort in the Volvo is comfortable. You can take it on a long journey. You're not gonna get too tired. The best part is, because it's 316 horsepower, give it a little go like that, kick you back a little bit with that 295 pound-feet of torque, and it'll just liven you up, and it's gonna put a smile on your face. Plus, you got the luxury to just encase everything else. Thank you, Bud and Chris, for giving us this 2022 Volvo XC90 Momentum T6 for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button, check out the details, the merchandise, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.